Today is my mother's birthday, as mentioned in the title, and we're going to try and fix her Odyssey 2 with the heat gun. So she's going to go ahead and get it open. I'm over here grabbing a little bite to eat at the other end of the table, and then we'll heat her up with the heat gun. Hopefully,
Are you able to see who's watching?
I am just turning that on now. Is that a phone call? Why are we playing Bolero? Here, let me see it for a second. It's going to be pulled straight down. Pause. Don't know why her phone started playing Bolero.
That's one of my favorite pieces. I had it on hold. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you need to answer that message, go right ahead. That's totally fine. I mean, I have to run out of the room for screwdrivers and all sorts of things. Which reminds me I should get us a magnetic parts holder for all the screws. I know there's some of my other stuff in this parts holder, but this way we won't lose anything. Cross our fingers, because I've never played this thing, and I want to play it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to experience the first home game ever. While she's doing that, I will do a little bit of fill in. Okay, let's. Well, let's see, can I? Well, either of these screws are not very magnetic. I mean, they're a little rusty, so. There we go. Excuse me.
So Ken wants to know what's the theory behind that. So I told him that someone told you that a heat gun will help melt the solder so it will make contact.
Yeah.
And we think that's why it's not working. The solder is loose and the pins which connect the game card to the circuit
Yeah.
are not connected.
If he has any other suggestions, I'm willing to listen, because that is my. I mean, and I do have a soldering iron. I don't trust myself to add new solder, but I would maybe try it to stick down the original solder. Now, I did look online, and I didn't see anything specifically. Well, maybe I saw one thing about a heat gun melting some solder, but I didn't necessarily find anything specific on that. That's just what my stepdad had said he's done in the past. So we will carefully give it a try.
Nothing in here can melt, can it?
No, I mean, if it could, it would, well, no, yeah, like, there's nothing that would be risk of melting from air, and if it was going to melt, it probably would.
He says, oh, not a bad theory. So.
Okay, we got a green light from.
Lighting those stuff.
Yep. And then also, something that you can send him sometime now or when we're done, if we get this working, just let him know that we're willing to bring it down one more time so they can see it working if they're interested in that.
Okay.
And then we'll find a time.
Can we like soak these screws in vinegar or something? Will that take the rust off?
Which, actually, I'm changing my mind on that rust idea. That's not rust. That is a, oops.
Oh, well, hello now, huh?
Yes, I'm going to turn off the overhead lighting, though, so that we have.
Blindness in
Well,
the hall.
but it's more soft, and I mean, if you need it, I can turn it back on, or I can go and grab another light upstairs.
Right now, I'm not getting this last screw out. I don't
So
know.
I would try just taking off the knobs on the top.
And see if it's loose enough to come off.
Yeah, I'm positive it's
Even-
loose enough
even
that
though
if you
it's-
take the knobs off the top.
Even though it's not falling out.
Yeah, that happens a lot where a screw just likes to stay in. So now that I have a little more light, it's not rust. It's some kind of a Actually, I need to do this. There we go. Some kind of a copper coloring on the screws itself. Almost like they painted it on or something. I don't know, but it's not rust like I thought. So next you need the, what size of hex was it? Or the socket wrench. Tiny, and where's, oh, wait, never mind, that's not missing. Yeah, that's one of the, I thought this was missing, but that's one of the standoffs.
Give me the last two over there. It's one of those two, I think.
One of these two?
Yeah.
Probably this one. Guessing off of what I've used for the Odyssey. Two, I should say.
Too big, too little.
Well, you got that upside down,
Oh, that's why.
and it's too small.
He says he has no idea if it will work, but it's shouldn't damage anything further.
Yeah, let me,
And
it is also too small.
just not to have the heat gun on any one spot too long.
Yep. Okay, there's the correct size. Go ahead and plug that in there. And then I will plug the heat gun in. Let's make sure all of those look like they're good. Okay. Now, we do still have,
Wires are still coming.
yep, but we're just gonna try and leave it that way. All right. So now, okay.
It's hard to decide how to set this down.
I wouldn't do that. Here, let me see it for just a second.
Well, we have to split one of them, and that's my concern. I don't want to lean it on there. So if we go down.
Wait, actually, wait. All right, never mind. No, because we are. Yeah, there's no. And there's
What
no.
about?
No,
put it on the table?
because we have to do it right here, and we don't want to heat this with.
Okay.
So
Let's see. So what's that little bobber thing right down there?
what bobber thing?
That, there's a round thing.
Oh, that's one of the. I forget what.
Little
It's a pot.
run or whatever they are, these little inner
Yeah.
tube things.
Well, the circle is a pot.
And
If
what
it-
does that mean?
It means it's an adjustable. Come over to this side. You're talking about one of these blue things, right?
No.
Okay. Because if it's one of the tubes, it's a capacitor.
Well, it's like,
Here, just show me what you're looking at.
oh, maybe it is one of those.
Yes.
Right there. Okay.
Uh-huh. That's a pot.
Okay, but they're not. Go ahead, set it down. No, that's gonna be too high. It has to be on the two stem things. Okay, so it's not hitting it, so we're good.
Okay, so.
Oh.
Oh,
I always doing
I mean, you can, yeah. I just wanted to, just
that.
to.
Which ones are loose?
Well, you just heat up the whole entire thing.
Okay, but I still want to know which ones are loose.
I don't know how many are loose. I haven't counted all of them, and
Okay.
it's hard to see.
Well, I want to just get an idea so we can check afterwards and see if it's working.
Well, I'll be able to check afterwards because I know what loose is versus what it isn't.
Okay. Oh, a lot of them are loose. Okay.
And do it on number 1 first, which is up.
Number 1.
Which is up. Yeah.
Oh.
And just hold it over these pins right here in one spot, just to see if we actually get them to melt. Oh, longer than that, because they're not melting. Just
Okay.
hold it right there, and I'll tell you if anything happens.
How long is too long in one spot is my
Well,
question.
it hasn't melted enough, so it's not been too long. I would try it on setting number 2.
Loose. How long does it?
Well,
How long does it take for it to dry and reset?
Seconds.
Stiff? Seconds after the heat's off.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're still loose. I can tell you they haven't melted yet.
Yeah. Nice one.
Okay, turn it off.
Are you trying that?
Yeah.
Is it working? Or
We don't-
can you tell if it's helping?
Well, I don't think it will help on some of these because there's not very much solder there anyways. It's like the solder has come off completely. So go ahead and hit it one more time on this area.
Okay. Let me feel that one.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, it's still wiggly.
What I did to inspect,
We're actually live streaming right now, so
No, you're
I
fine.
mean we're talking things. I just
Okay.
don't know if we want to.
Well, is
wait
I used to magnifying glass
on there. Oh yeah, to inspect
well,
this.
and inspected it, and you can tell if there's hairline cracks, it'll show, and if you fix it,
Okay, so
Yeah.
you
those
have,
hairlines will go away.
okay, so
But-
he says,
Just heat it up first because I can see what's there and what's not.
okay, well, I want to see also since I'm doing it.
Okay.
He said he used a
Magnifying.
magnifying glass to inspect and see if there were hairline cracks.
But
And
yeah, I'm not seeing any hairline cracks.
You have really good eyes. I have really bad eyes. Yeah, no hairline cracks, but like this one here that's loose.
So
Like
just
what you said, it's like the solder is gone in the hole where it's supposed to be hooking it.
oops. See if I can zoom you down a bit. Yeah, you need to heat it up longer than that.
Okay. I'm just starting gradually since
Well, but
I
you
don't
can't.
know how
You
long.
can't start gradually. You have to have it constantly, and
No,
then.
I mean do a little bit. If that's not good, then I'll do a little bit longer, and if that's not good,
Or how about you just do it and then I'll tell you when it's good or when to stop. Because we want it to be more of an all at once. Okay, go ahead and move down that way. Okay, move more that way. Okay, stop. Okay. We've got,
ooh, I smell it.
yeah, so I would say not anymore. I do not think this is looks like there's just too much solder missing from a lot of the pins. Yeah, you guys.
So we'll let it cool off and then test them.
Yeah, we can test it, but I'm pretty sure we haven't fixed much of anything.
I meant test, see how they wiggle, but make sure it's totally cool first.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah, but yeah, like the pins that I'm seeing that look bad, we're gonna have to put more solder on, and I don't trust myself to do that. So I would then just take it back to Cam and say, here, can you solder these on? Which I'm gonna grab. Let's see what some of this stuff is. Yeah. Still relatively toasty, so we'll let it cool off and. Oh, Mom!
Oh, well, it's just the outside cover.
No, it's not. It's like the aesthetics, the most beautiful part of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like, if you were going to try and sell this, you've just decreased the value by
Yeah.
a lot. Well, the good news is it's Mom's Odyssey. And that's partially why I decided to have her, like, open it up and attempt it and bring her along for the ride. So basically, zoom out. What happened is we accidentally melted a little bit on the side there. Yeah, I don't know if that could be like remelted or not. It's still structurally sound. So, yeah, that's still really toasty. I am going to.
Wow, it's even brown. I could see we burnt it.
I wouldn't necessarily say
It's
burnt.
not brown. It's just got a brown hue on the
Yeah.
green.
And that's just because of some of the stuff on top that was heated up and melted a bit. I wouldn't say that we burnt it.
Well, melting a bit is what I meant. It's not like this. It's been heated enough to
Yeah.
get coloration, which
And that's
is
probably the
what
flux
burning is.
spreading around.
Hmm. So I'm presuming that the trick of the soldering is to solder each peg in its spot and not let the solder of one peg touch the solder of the other, because then
Yes.
you've made a connection.
Yes. I'm going to cool this off here. There we go.
So would it be possible to have some sort of a card of some sort that you put across here and then splitting each, surrounding each of the pegs when you solder that once so it won't lap over?
They do actually have that for some things.
Do they?
But for here, I don't know. I don't know how they get around like having. Well, I actually, yeah, I did watch a video on this the other day. So essentially, you would have a solder paste, so a mixture of solder and flux, and then you put your card down, you spread it on top of the card, which that was for surface mount components. So here you would have the pins in the way and it wouldn't work.
Okay.
But then you would heat up the solder using like a reflow oven or maybe a heat gun, I think was used in the video, or something else, and they would connect down. But none of these are surface mounts, so that wouldn't work for this application.
But it's the idea,
Mhm.
the concept is.
And I don't know if I've never seen in videos using an air dryer to cool off faster, but I don't really think that we did much of anything. So I just want to cool this off and not risk much more.
So did you feel them to see if there's any difference?
I don't need to feel because I can tell there's not just by looking at it.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sure if it was weird, it was the second one.
Well, I can tell just by looking at these which ones are not making good contact and which ones are.
Right, you can tell, and I'm just feeling just for me to tell.
Now, I mean, that's just really fuzzy, but this is being recorded on a phone. But, where is a good... Yeah, so this one here that is proper, but all these others are just missing solder. Like, it's completely cracked off and gone. And, like, if you compare all of these to all of these other points on the board here, and see how there's obviously more solder on them.
Little mound of solder.
So, yeah, essentially, the heat gun, I am positive, did not work. That is sad. And I just don't trust myself soldering at that close. Some of the other points on the board, maybe that are farther away, but like I've tried soldering before, and it was terrible. I accidentally melted some of the case. I have, what else have I done? And I tried to fix a TV once, and I ended up having solder go between 2 points where it wasn't, and I never got to the point where I was able to take it off. And with solder wick, it just never happened.
I was
So
wondering why you were so unsure of your soldering. Because you did things earlier with some of your model helicopters or something that were okay. But...
I never soldered those.
Oh.
Well, there was maybe once that I soldered a battery on, but that was just once, and it wasn't very good. And I didn't know what I was doing, and either the battery was wrong or the helicopter was wrong. I just took one battery from one cheap toy helicopter and put it in another. And it flew for a bit, but then like the battery started hissing and puffing, and I had to go online, and someone told me to stick it in some sort of a container, like salt water or something. I forget what they said. But yeah, I have never successfully soldered anything.
So we need to just either practice soldering or find somebody who knows.
Like Cam. Or maybe not Cam himself, but his Cooper, his repairman, would be able to. They have a soldering gun. Or a soldering iron.
Alright, let's talk to him and see what it would take. See if I want to put that much into it.
You mean money-wise?
Money-wise,
I'll put the money in. I want this fixed.
Let's see what they say. Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Sadly, this didn't work, but there wasn't quite enough solder on there. I did maybe start seeing, so this dark area here I'm sure is just flux. In fact, actually, we can check that really quickly before we cut.
I don't know if you can hear me said we can check that really quickly.
Yes, they did.
They did? Your speaker is that good?
The microphones are that good.
Microphones are that
Yes.
good. So the flux will come off with...
I'm guessing some of it should. And nothing else looks bad. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's just some of the flux that was around that got a little.
Around.
Yep. little melted on there. And we were starting to work on that one that still has some solder.
Mm-hmm. It was
So.
starting to show melting.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, this is, this, something you said the other day. Oh, yeah. You said that you had actually, we thought you didn't
Yeah.
play it much because it wasn't very fun.
I
But
remembered that it got to be so that we would put the cards in and it wouldn't connect the game. We'd have to wiggle the card back and forth in order to get the game to play. And that makes sense with how these contacts were loose and we were having to jiggle the card in here to get it to contact, jiggle the game card. So that makes sense of the problem he has seen and why it's not working. Okay.
So, yeah. A little bit disappointing, but there's still hope for this thing yet. And while we're here, I will just mention that there is no memory in the Odyssey 2 anywhere. The Odyssey. Later consoles like the Odyssey 2, which is not the second Odyssey, it's the second generation, because there was like the 100, 200, up to like, I forget what the numbers were for their different Pong consoles, but no memory in here. Others used microprocessors, which were the early version of the modern day CPU. This just has the chips reflowing the electricity around to the different circuit boards in here that act as various things for like drawing the ball and stuff. I don't know very much about what each one does, but yeah, I don't know. I just think it's really cool to think there's no memory inside of this thing. So yeah, that's it. We're gonna stick this thing back together, and yeah, if you guys, I don't know. I do a lot of other stuff that I think is maybe a little cooler than, it's cool to see the inside, but I do stuff that's less disappointing, we'll say. So go check out some of my other stuff, and I will see you guys in whatever's next. Alright, we are cut.